Question 1. What are paragraphs 4 through 5 mainly about? A. The ways in which Frida Kahlo's pride of her Mexican heritage grew as she got older. B. How joining the Mexican Communist Party created Frida Kahlo's pride for Mexico. C. How she met her husband Diego Rivera and how he taught her to have pride for Mexico. D. The ways in which all women in the Mexican Communist Party showed their pride for Mexico. Question 2. Read this sentence from the selection. Later, she enrolled at National Preparatory School, one of 35 female students at a school of over 2,000 students. What does this sentence suggest about education during Frida Kahlo's childhood? A. Only the wealthy could afford to attend school. B. Not all young girls received a proper education. C. Boys were required to go to school while girls were not. D. It was not expected for the poor to go to school after a certain grade. Question 3. Which sentence from the selection best supports the idea that Frida Kahlo's influence is still seen today? A. Her family home opened as a museum in 1958, and the feminist movement in the 1970s led to a re-examination of her paintings as feminist icons. B. She wore traditional dress, long, colorful dresses, fancy headdresses, and heavy jewelry, and changed her artistic style to reflect traditional Mexican folk art. C. Her unique personal style, dramatic eyebrows, fancy flowery headdresses, and bright colors is so recognizable that her portraits still show up on magazine covers and as Halloween costumes today. D. Kahlo met a French art critic who loved her work and offered to host an art show for her in Paris. Question 4. According to the selection, the bus accident Frida Kahlo experienced influenced her art because A. This was when she began painting her trademark self-portraits. B. It was when she joined the Mexican Communist Party and met her husband, Diego Rivera. C. Until this time, Frida Kahlo had been unaware of her talent as an artist. D. The pain she experienced influenced her to try painting for the first time. Question 5. Which of the following best expresses the main idea of the selection? A. Frida Kahlo had many influences for her artwork, including pride for her country and adversity she overcame. B. During her lifetime, Frida Kahlo found little success. It wasn't until her death that her artwork was appreciated. C. Frida Kahlo used her art to further her feminist agenda and speak out against the ideas of Mexico's Communist Party. D. While Frida Kahlo was very influential during her lifetime, her art and ideas are no longer supported today. Audio for first female Army Ranger questions. Question 1. The title of the article suggests that A. Both Griest and Haver were aware that what they were accomplishing would have an impact on future generations of female soldiers. B. If Griest and Haver were to fail, no other female soldiers would be allowed to participate in Ranger School. C. Other women had tried and failed to complete Ranger School. D. Griest and Haver were the only women to ever attempt to finish Ranger School. Question 2. Which words from paragraph 7 help the reader understand the term recycled? A. The next class. B. Sent back to start. C. Internal pressure. D. Pioneers and trailblazers. Question 3. The author most likely wrote the selection to A. Express their disapproval of women in the armed forces. B. Encourage female readers to also enlist in the Army. C. Highlight the achievements of 2 female Army officers. D. Discourage other female officers to enroll in Ranger School. Question 4. The author included the quote in paragraph 11 to illustrate the idea that A. Men in the Ranger program discriminated against Griest and Haver when faced with daunting tasks. B. The female trainees were accepted by the male trainees because they were able to do the job. C. It took a long time for Griest and Haver to be accepted by the men in the program. D. While female trainees were accepted by most men in the school, not all were tolerant. Question 5. Why does the author include the last paragraph? A. To show that the accomplishment of Griest and Haver was not worth much since they were still not able to fight in the front lines. B. To illustrate that even though Griest and Haver have achieved something great, there are still obstacles for them to overcome. C. To highlight the discrimination that women continue to face in today's military. D. To emphasize how much Grease and Heather have accomplished because they were able to complete Ranger School. Paired passage audio questions. Number 1. Read this line from the biography. She did not behave how women were expected to in the early 20th century, and her paintings, many of them self-portraits, were of a style never seen before at that time. Which line from the article expresses a similar idea? A. Soon their gender didn't matter. B. Grease and Haver have been called pioneers and trailblazers. C. Haver, though, was not as confident. D. Both women were asked if they had ever thought about quitting. Question 2. Both sections explore the idea of A. Solitude in order to achieve our goals. B. Indifference towards the obstacles we face. C. Perseverance in the face of adversity. D. Cowardice when encountering difficulties. Question 3. One similarity between Frida Kahlo and the two women in this article is that A. All are respected by the men in their respective fields. B. All achieve success relatively easily. C. All were trying to achieve goals previously only achieved by men. D. All were resented by other women who could not achieve what they did. Question 4. One difference between Frida Kahlo and the two women in the article is that only Kahlo, A. did not think about how her influence would affect future generations of women. B. Received a quality education that influenced her career path. C. Worked in a male-dominated field and had to work hard to earn their respect. D. Used her position in society to speak out for political causes.